Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're gonna talk about Trump's tariff therapy. Is it a good or is it a ill? So let's dive deep into it. Now you have to understand this is someone who is outside of USA observing from the outside. So there would be some sloppiness, or you may be like, no, it's completely opposite. That would be fair. You have to relax about that. It will happen if somebody else is doing it from the outside. But now let's get into the show. Basically, how does it look to me? Well, we have tariff therapy that is going on because Trump is 47th, this dude basically, and this dude is his second term. Now be mindful, this is very rare that your second term would be non-consecutive, meaning A, B, C. It's basically A, B is not there, C is there. So he has non-consecutive. And you have to understand, this guy is not a career politician, so to say. So he's coming from the outside. So he does not have the wisdom as Obama would do. And he was flat out honest about it, is that the first term, he did not do a very good job. Like, he's very clear about that. It's the first term, he could not, and again, president elects a lot of people, like 10,000 of them up to, or at least 1,000 in few days, and then they elect sub people. So that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it is. But problem is he was not good enough in that department, and it's like, he had to take a leap of faith, and that backfired. But benefit of that, he learned all his lessons, and this time he's on a mission. And again, that mission started at this point in time. So that's why this photo, he's on a mission. Like, he knows what he wants to do and he's clear on it. It's like, that's the whole ethos of this administration. Promise made, promise kept. Like, he is on a mission. What is the mission? Make America great again. Now here's the deal. He was saying the same thing long ago, as in before Joe Biden. But problem is, he did not actually had a very concrete, like, he had a rough idea, rough outline, but not a concrete plan. This is how I'm going to do it. This time he has few action plan. Again, his wisdom in the office taught him all those things. It's like, this is how you do it. This is how you outmaneuver anyone who trying to slow you down. So he has 2 missiles to fire to make sure that this goal of making America great again happens. The goal is basically make America rich again. You have to understand, Americans just after World War II, they were so freakishly rich that things that you and I could not even understand, like from all other countries. It's like, oh, world tour was like, it must be uber rich. No, they were doing it. Middle class people, just go to there and have fun. And I'm like, what the hell? That was the normal thing for them? I'm like, yeah, it was. So from that kind of thing, like golden era, to like they are bad situation right now. Like, young people in USA, they effed. Let that be very clear. They effed. So how do you reset that? Well, 2 missiles, border security and tariff warfare. So these are the 2 missiles that will give him what he's hoping for. So what exactly is the problem? Well, you have to understand, capitalism is a system. Like any other system, it requires checks and balances, like insulin. If you have too much of it, you're bad. If you have too little of it, you're bad. So fundamentally, you have to understand, checks and balance have to be there. And if you do not have that, it will not work properly and it will devolve into a mess. That's exactly what happened in USA. So it was not like, one bad day, one bad decision, one bad executive order. It was not like that. It was a lot of tiny mistakes, and all of the checks and balances that's supposed to be there, failing brick by brick. And now they are in a mess that they cannot fix easily or at all, practically speaking. So that happened. Now, where was the good time for USA? Well, USA was just after World War II. And be mindful, if you read literature of that time, it's shown in economics class nowadays, it's like everybody thought USA will cripple because, again, they have so much overbuilt factories, they have so much people coming back, what the hell they're gonna do? And it's like, how they're gonna maintain the economy? No problem, man. Like, that was like print money, baby, period. So how the heck that happened? Well, again, there are a lot of good things playing for it. And the most amazing thing that made sure that growth was sustainable was this puppy, Saturn V puppy. Now, you may be like, okay, well, isn't that expensive? Well, yeah, it's idiotically expensive. To give you a context, national budgets is like, you have this much pie. How much was given for that? 4.5% for a few years. So GG amount of money was poured into this. To give you a context, current NASA budget is 0.4%. So yeah, ludicrously large amount of money was poured into it. Now, was that worth it? This is the only project where it was worth it, because again, compare that to almost any other project. This was like, oh, you gave me $10, I'm gonna give you $1 million in return. Traceback Technologies patent tree. Like, you have this is based on this patent, based on this patent, as in like somebody built this device that allows this device to be made. Follow the traceback. So many of it will have roots into this. It's hilarious at this point in time. Like, you would be sure, oh, why do we have cordless high torque drills? Oh, International Space Station. Oh, NASA. Oh, why do we have this? Oh, this. Oh, why do we have integrated circuit? Ta-da! So from a country's point of view, this was the best investment people of that time could have done, and they did it, and it printed money till this day. Like, this is the reason why USA has money. So that worked. Awesome, GG. But here's the deal. If you studied in school anytime in recent years, you must have heard this terminology. MNC, multinational corporation, basically companies who have no ownership. Not ownership as in like technically on paper they do, but it's like they work in almost every country. Some MNCs have almost reached a point where they are working in 100 countries. Not even joking. So MNC started to exploit some loophole, and that's the whole point of checks and balances. Nobody was like, one bad day, everything fell apart. No, it was just like, what if this loophole was like, just lubricated so we can just enhance it and we can just AF it. So it happened brick by brick, and they started to, and what was the penalty of it? Well, USA went from like, we can mass produce bombers to we can mass produce cars to like, we can't even maintain our own factories. And it will happen slowly, and wealth inequality grew. So understand in this way, on paper, Americans, if you just calculate the mathematics, it's like, yeah, the middle class is growing, but here's the calculate against inflation is like, yeah, they are shrinking. It's bad. And calculate against the 1 percentile or top 10 percentile, they are growing exponentially. It's creepy how quickly they are growing. It's not like, last year I was making 1 million, this year is I'm making 1.5 million. No. It's like, last year I made million. That was a bad year. This year I'm making 10 million. Next year after that, 50 million. It's creepy how fast they are going up. It's like, oh, God damn it. It's like idiotically fast they are growing. And it literally created a scenario of cheap goods, which robbed people of jobs, and wealth was drained. I'll explain that part further. So awesome time. And then the downfall happened. And again, downfall did not happen. It was like one bad decision. It was like, lubricating the holes and then just effing it. So tariff warfare is the first missile that Trump is firing. And to give you context, again, I had made a detailed video and I was very impressed by the response on it. At least people understood it. Is that if you are a new country, let's just say Japan, after World War II, shift deleted, America shift deleted you. Okay, cool, awesome, GG. You want to convert all your remaining war factories into something productive, like some civilian use. Cool, awesome. And you're like, okay, I'm going to make cars. But here's the deal, you can't sell those cars. Nobody will buy those cars if Ford is available. Ford will have much higher quality than you. So what did Japanese government do? They applied tariffs, ludicrously high tariff, like bare minimum 40%, as high as 60%, and also some great taxes where it was like, oh, if you have to do this, you have to match this, and that, like bureaucracy, so to say. And that allowed all the Japanese company that you take for granted today, like Toyota, they became successful, because again, that time, like they protected, with the Japanese government protected their investments in the early phases. It's like, okay, let this plant gain some root, only then we're gonna put competition. And again, it's a very wise strategy, even though sometimes it will feel like painful or cruel. It has to be done. For example, if a Indian government was not as wise, they will be like, okay, let's just buy medicine from outside. That will create permanent dependency. So we had to, at some point in time, we had to bite the bullet. It's like, okay, we're gonna make our own medication. Even though it's expensive, we have to do it so we can have removed this dependency, and over time we can reduce the price. But to do that, it cannot be done in open competitive market. It will just not work. Government have to employ the rules of tariff to give that what you call sprouting period, where it's like, okay, safe environment, grow as quickly as you can. And again, it also acts as a control measure, checks and balances. Basically, if these companies become too what you call lenient and not caring about the quality is not improving, you just start to reduce tariff. It's like, okay, competition. It's like, checks and balances. Cool, GG. That's how every country does it that is smart enough, and it's under US as a influence, so to say. So that's how it happens. And Japan, India, China, Canada, EU, all of them. And they all have tariffs on USA, because again, USA could just flood their market. So they're like, okay, you have tariffs. And again, let that be very clear. Whenever you saw that plaque that Trump was carrying, either it had inside jokes, and not to mention, or it could be a misprint, or most likely there was a weighted percentage that was utilized, meaning percentage was not like, oh, we have this percentage, because again, you are showing a percentage on nation. That's not accurate, because again, different sections get different tariffs. So for that reason, tariffs would be created in such a way where it's like, okay, what is the average load on us? Like, for example, if you put tariff on some weird goods, like, we make this miniature models and all that. Okay, it's a luxury good, who cares that much? But we're like, okay, we put it on cars. It's like, whoa, that's painful. So based on that, weighted average would be created. And that's why the tariffs did not mean any logical sense where it's like, okay, 60%. What do you have that has 60% tariff? No, 60% is the weightage from American industrialist point of view. So lot of countries have tariff to make sure that America just does not shift delete all their industry by providing non-growth environment, so to say. And another aspect of it, that's all going to USA. But what about amongst other nations? Well, yes, all of the nations have tariff for this exact safeguard, which we call foreign flooding. For example, thankfully, I live in a country which is known as India, and we do not have very stupid relationship with China. So we do understand that China is not having people's best. They started flooding market in cheap steel in 2008. Let that be very clear. This was so bad that somehow it made more sense to make steel in China's mainland, ship it into container ships, bulk carrier container ships, and then port it somewhere else, and you will be cheaper than the local steel produced. Look, steel is heavy. How the heck that's possible? It was not possible. They were just dumping it. And not all of the countries reacted very quickly, including USA. But a lot of countries did react very quickly. It's like, and I'm very happy that more than enough countries realized that, hey, you are flooding it. And be mindful. Once you flood it, there is a small period where it can be reset. But if you jump that period, basically once you have lose your industry and workforce gets diluted, yeah, there is no recovery path left. For example, iron factory, let's just say that factory can remain dormant for 2 years. Your workforce can remain dormant for 1 year. And I'm exaggerating 1 year part. But let's say 5 years have passed. All the workforce, they had found some new jobs. And the factories have rotted away. So they're like done, gone, nothing is left. Now you try to employ tariff, nothing can be done. Once you lost it, regaining it is too difficult. So that's what China was aiming for. And they did succeeded with certain countries. But a lot of countries did realize it. And again, there is a whole protocol for government bureaucrats for against this exact protocol. If you have foreign flooding, employ tariff now. Again, it's like a dam. It's like, nope, thou shall not flood my country. So again, a lot of countries got together and started to apply tariffs. So instantly started tariff was like 10%. They were not reducing. Okay, 35% tariff. And you're like, didn't that make steel price expensive? No. Short term? Yeah. Long term? No. Why? We have supplies. Now you have multiple supplies. India has a supplier. China has a supplier. So now you have multiple choice options. So it must be handled very quickly. Basically, if a country is flooding, it must be handled quickly. Basically, like Japanese government, it did not wait like 15 years in parliament where it's like, okay, we're going to do something. No, the country, all the auto companies that became auto companies would have been poofed. They're like, no, we need to act now. It was done surprisingly quickly. Same with steel. And European Union also got this act very together from a government's point of view. They're like, still slow, but from a government's point of view, they made sure that you do not lose those jobs. Because once you lose the industry, once you lose the workforce, cheap steel means nothing because your people do not have jobs. And again, you also have dependency. They can keep increasing the price, which has been done in history. That's how we know you must have a protocol against flooding. So what was the penalty? Let's say what happened to the American people. So America went from where they were printing money to basically middle class was strained. Basically, middle class had to buy external goods. The money went out. And because these were MNCs, they actually had the stakes in that department also. So they were getting rich and the middle class were losing money. It's like, what the hell? So that happened. And here's this whole terminology that people will trick you as like cheap goods, man, cheap goods. No, cheap goods are not needed if you have good jobs. Let that be very clear. You want a country that has good paying jobs rather than cheap goods. Okay. There's a lot of cheap goods in Venezuela. You don't want there. So that's the whole point. You never want cheap goods. You want good jobs. And there is another penalty of it. Once you have good jobs and good products, you also have second-hand stuff to start your system. Meaning, if you look into the ecosystem of American auto industry, there were a lot of places that were like, this is a small factory. And it was like, it went out of business or something. A lot of the tools, because they were quality tools, they were sold. And a lot of people were like, I have a garage. It would be nice if I had a lathe. I can do a lot more servicing and all that. It's like, I'm going to buy that. But again, the tool is the same tool. Tool has been made, done, all that. They collect the tool, refurbish it, done, go home. Many factories have started like this. Many things that you take seriously right now. Whereas like you go into America and random places have like, giant supply chain, giant this and all that of niche things happened because you had quality tools. And again, second-hand stuff has like second-hand cars. Basically, we went from cars could easily last to 100,000 miles. And again, not lasting as in like you are pouring money into it like there is no tomorrow. Lasting as in like actually lasting. Well, minor modifications, not like modern car where it's like on paper it lasts the same time. It's just that, yeah, if you look at the bill, it's like you might have buy 3 cars at that point in time. So People who were just starting out, let's say just out of school, they were buying second-hand cars, they were buying second-hand tools, they were just getting things done. Now there is no quality tool, there is no quality car. I have best case scenario is like a Toyota Tacoma, which again, it's good, but again, a Toyota Tacoma now versus Toyota Tacoma of 1990s, yeah, you will learn the hard way. So cheap goods are not needed. Let them very clear. This should be outside of your brain. You do not want cheap goods, you want good jobs. And because again, that allows an ecosystem of second hand. And again, that also has a benefit of repair industry, service industry. Lot of things happens. And MNC tricked people into cheap goods because they're like, hey, cheap, because again, you're poor, you have to buy that. And that created planned obsolescence. That planned obsolescence slowly start to drain exponentially. Basically, you had a fridge that could last for 30 years and you had to service it once in a while and done, go home, sweet dreams. Now you have cheap fridge. You're like, hey, upgrade your old fridge to this new fridge, which is cheaper. Awesome. You buy it 5 years later, you buy a new fridge because it's cheap. 6-7 years later, and now you're realizing, hey, I'm pouring so much money, it's a debt on me. Whereas like, every few years, like you have to have a budgeting now. It's like, yeah, I have to give some money for refrigerators, some for washing machines, some for this, because all of them are not buy and forget. They are like keep buying. So all of this, and again, the ecosystem that was there for servicing and repairing and all that, those also disappeared. So fundamentally, it created a scenario which is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Middle classes started to become more and more, and again, they are losing more money, so they have to buy a more cheaper product. It's like buy cheap, buy twice. So tariff is supposed to compensate for that. And I'll explain further why the tariffs are so huge, so shock-inducing. But this is the intent of it. Like every country employs tariff, and if it's done correctly, it does help your country. It's a tool. Deploy it correctly, it will help you. If do not deploy correctly, it will destroy you. But again, you have to do it. In certain scenarios, there is no discussion. America, unfortunately, did not react to it quickly and things got out of hand. Now, borders. Now, borders is like, why? Why borders play a role into the economic situation? Well, what does company love? Company love a worker where they do not have to pay. Just call it S-level. So they're like, okay, what can we do? What is the next best thing? Well, next best thing is illegal. Basically, undocumented immigrants. Now, here's the deal. Why? Because they are cheap labor in USA without the mess. For example, you want to be like, hey, I want to run this restaurant chain, and this will require, let's say, 50,000 people to run. And I'm just the business employee. This will like, you will calculate all these things out, and you're like, okay, this much money I'm paying for the labor. And you're like, again, there is a law that you cannot pay less than that. It's like, what if I show that I'm running the systems on less people, so to say, like, the workforce is less, and you hire immigrant people on that and pay them less than the minimum wage. Now, here's the deal. Wouldn't they complain? Yes, they do, but they can't do anything about it. And where they will go, they're illegal in the country. That's why it's illegal to hire, illegal immigrants, because it's like, again, they know that it's an exploitative system. So, and here's the deal. If they're employing it, why the heck goods prices are not going down? If you have cheap labor, at least Chinese thing you can say that is cheap, but why the heck, if this sort of trickery is used, why the heck the goods that are made in USA is not cheap? Because big profit margin. So all it did is like, this went down, this went up. So the business owner now, they're like raking in profit. It's like, and somebody's like, hey, why your object prices are going up? It's like, no, it's inflation and all that, labor cost and all that. It's like, dude, you're not paying them, like comparatively speaking, and benefits maybe. So that's the whole point. It basically saps the rights of the workers and is the perfect worker because they can't complain, and it uplifts things that used to be there. Basically, back in the old days, there were a lot of Indian people that went to USA and they uplifted. Basically, they started lower jobs and they had legal paperwork. So brick by brick, they became CEOs of all the companies. So uplifting was there. Again, same happened with a lot of other nations also. Nowadays, that does not happen. Now it does not happen. So, because again, no worker rights, no uplifting, and all the money just goes into the overlords. So overlords are like getting fat, and here's the deal. They are illegal, they can't complain. So this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where the profit margin just goes up and people are like, why the prices of goods are going up? Because again, they can lower it. They're just like, if they lower it, somebody will notice it. It's like, hey, and again, if there is one business who is doing proper accounting with proper, say, they'll notice it like, dude, you are doing something illegal. Otherwise, you cannot sell it below, like at loss and still be rich. So that's why. And it also deflates wages because again, now they can show, oh, we have so many people working and they are all working at minimum wage on paper and nobody is complaining. They'll think, oh, everybody's fine. No. Only few people is fine. And again, it deflates it also because again, if you are seeing in your McDonald's 10 people who are like that, and again, I know big companies on paper don't have any of these things, but Let's just go with that. And it's like these 10 people are not working with any issues with that minute pay, and the American kid who is like, I have student loan debt, I have to pay it, is like, lol, out of a job. And this creates a scenario where the debt on young people or students are so goddamn high, they can't do this sort of outdated minimum wage jobs, because outdated as in their pay wise. Increase the pay, which was there, but they can't do it. So, and again, all the money was leached into the business owner's hand. It's not like, oh, the economy, no, it's just leached into one part rather than being distributed. The old school system, logical system, the balanced system was the business owner makes 10x, the management makes 2x, and the worker makes 0.5x. Now it is workers make 0.001%, 0.0%, 1%, and then worker 100%. So basically the business owner are making ludicrously large amount of money, and proportional gap, it's unsustainable. Mathematical, that's the term of it. It's unsustainable. The leach gap between these two extremes is like, it's being pulled from both sides. It's like, dude, the pyramid will break if you do that. But again, it is happening. And again, this sort of illegal, this was from 2021. I really like the illustration. 2021, this happened from that. And again, it's not helping the other countries also. Same thing was done for other countries like China, iSlave. And again, people ask me like, why I never like Apple products and Apple company, iPhone and all that. It's like, no matter how good they are bad. How bad? Let me give you a context. Korean company Samsung has a shop in India, as in like a factory, and they pay very little. Like, I would not want to work there. It's so little pay. Here's the, do you know who pays less than that? Apple. How less? Zero. Shunya. Nothing. For months they did not pay nothing. Nada. Nothing. And Apple just like, once it came out, people were so violent. It's like, dude, you haven't paid for like months and months and all this. Always like, okay, next month. The violent, it got out of hand. And then Apple created an apology. Sorry, we did not knew. I'm like, bitch, please. You knew. You exactly knew. A multi-trillion-dollar company did not knew a factory. I'm like, please. Police. The only way that could have been done if the money savings was passed on to Apple, and it was being passed to the Apple. That's how they were getting such a cheap deal in India rather than like, making in China. So that's why. Again, Samsung is not paying a lot. It's not great, but at least they are paying something. And that's why. And again, if you think that situation is bad, the things they are doing in China, iSlave. I'm not making that. That's Chinese people. Again, it's bad. So that's why. Fundamentally. And the worst part is, you can't afford quality. Like in a shoe, like there used to be so many shoe companies that were like, you go to them, they will measure your foot, they will spend the time on your shoes, and once you buy the shoe, it lasts. Like, you do not have to worry about it. It's like, you have a shoe, unless somebody steals this or something really bad happens, you don't think about it. It's like, buy, forget. So now you have cheap shoes made in Vietnam or Bangladesh, and it's like, buy, few months, okay, now buy again, few months, so that creates a scenario. Basically, you can't afford quality anymore, because again, you can't have jobs, because again, the minimum wage has been deflated. Now you have obsolescence tax. And that tax is basically, instead of buying and forgetting and then paying that money into something else, let's say some investment, you can't do that, because you have to keep the money for everything that keeps breaking itself. So obsolescence tax is a very big deal. And it also affects the people who are making quality products. Basically, if you look into a lot of YouTube videos, especially people who are working with machine shops and all that, a lot of machines are from ancient time, as in like before digital technology became a thing, and those machines are still working. How? They knew it to make it was expensive, but people used to pay it. Why? Because they knew, I pay it once and I forget about it. Oh, I forget about it. Like, nothing bad will happen to it other than some maintenance. Like, I forget about it. Buy and forget about it. But now it's like, you buy Chinesium and like start saving money for the next Chinesium. So that creates an issue. You can't make, you can't afford quality goods, penalty of which you can't make a quality goods, and you can't even pay your employees to make a well job, because again, other companies have tariff blockade, where it's like, okay, we're gonna do awesome Ford stuff, we're gonna sell it to other countries. Other countries like, no, you can't sell it here. So USA got stuck in this feedback loop. So you can't make quality foods and all that. And investors. Now, the worst thing happened is investors somehow went from, back in the old days, investors were people who were just different type of bank. You went to them, they took a chunk of your company as a full future, and when you had to return them, you had to return a large portion of that. That's how it used to be. But something happened in, let's say, 2000s. These became dictators. They're like starting to make decisions for companies. I'm not even joking. My studio that went under had a decision like that. Basically, they bought a game engine rather than finishing the game engine because it was only 80% done. They never finished the engine. They started development on the project, and again, it all went kaput. The company that was 22 years old. So, lot of bad decisions are like this are happening. It's almost like somebody is like, oh, I bought Bitcoin in 2009 and now I'm a billionaire, so you have to listen to me. It's like, no, you are lucky. So, and that sort of a switch off role where it's like, they can become the guardians of a company. And again, that's why that pyramid is getting stretched. They are like, no, I want more. I want more. So that system, and they have no penalty for bad decision. They're like, oh, we like the Boeing interview, that was the best I've seen. It's like, you have workers who are on strike because they are not getting paid, and again, this is their pay slip, and this is inflation data from US government. So no, like you can't say I'm cheating or I'm cheating or all that. So absolute data. And they're asked us like, okay, yeah, we are trying to negotiate. It's like, why are you trying to just increase their salary? Like, no, we have to negotiate. It's like, okay, what is your salary? No, sir, it's no. What exactly is? It's a number. Yes, it's a number. Is it a big number? Yes, sir. It's a substantial. How big? It was few $1 million. It's like, bro, just make $1 million a month. Just become poor like $1 million a month, and just take the rest, distribute in these workers. How about that? And again, their bad decision, which can literally cause harm, literally can cause death, has no penalty. They're just like, work it off. So they just cause layoffs. Like they bought the company and like, let's destroy the company and then just go to something else. So that literally made it worse. And all of that, like creating a what you call grinding, because again, now you have cheap labor. So can this situation be fixed? Well, it comes down to faith, because first thing you have to understand, the 1%ers have no loyalty to anything. They are eating just for eating. They are like, I have a yacht. Cool, awesome, GG. I want another yacht. It's like, brah, you got only one ass. You have only one ass. You can't be like one ass in, Bahamas, another ass in Russia. You got one ass. You only need one. Okay, only one. But they're like, what if we leech this extra bit of money from Bangladeshi citizens, and like, they are working on such a little pay that if they were paying good amount of money, it still would have no impact. Only difference would be, instead of their 5th yacht, they will be like, I can only have 4 yachts. I'm so poor. I'm so broke. But they're like, what if we F these people? What if they overwork them in a building that is just meant to go poof and poof them? And yes, that did happen. So you have to understand, they are eating not because they need to, but because other can still eat. So they're like, no, all of you must start. So they have really no concept of ethics, no concept of understanding, nothing. They're just lost, kaput. So things get out of hand, and Trump is dealing with that. Again, he is a businessman, so he does understand. And again, the best example of that was his competition against Hillary Clinton. You are also not paying the taxes. Like, you had presidency here. Why did not you change the system? If I'm not paying tax, that makes me smart. I'm like, damn, sir, damn. So fundamentally, this means you cannot use normal to, oh, we're going to increase tariff 30%. It will not do. It will just not do. First, it's too stable. Second, it's too little. They just pass on the cost. You're like, no, you have to make markets so unstable that how can we make sure that we are safe in this environment? Is like stake a claim. What is the staking the claim? Make the goddamn factory in USA. Only then your stake claim is stable. So that's why MNCs, and again, that's why Trump is creating such a uproar, so to say, that there are only 2 options. Either make plant in USA and have safeguard revenue for the future, even if it's small one. That's how the balls gets rolling. Even a small one will start to get the ball rolling. Or second, waits for someone else to do it. Because here's the deal. There are no loyalties. In 1%, there is no loyalty. So someone else can easily start making plant in there. They're like, oh, you are not going to do this. Cool, I will do it. And you would be shocked. It's like, oh, it can't be done. Trust me. Trust me, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Do they want to? Basically, all they have to do, all the money we want is in that profit margin. So instead of profit margin make this big, we have to make sure it's this big. So that's the only part. Basically, we have to make sure these sort of people do not get steering wheel of the country. It's like, bro, you have one ass, buy one yacht. Relax. Shut up. No, I need 50 yacht because my wife's ex-boyfriend needs it or something. It's like, what the hell is going on? So flat out, they have to do it. Basically, that's why Trump is creating so much uproar. If he has very stable, it will just increase the cost of goods. No factories will be made. He is making so instability, such a high, chaos environment. It's like, no, but Americans will suffer. They are suffering already. So first, they are making sure that jobs would be taken, seal the border. Second, create an unstable environment where you're like, oh, we have this car manufacturing that goes back and forth between Canada and USA for 50 times. How the heck that's logical? but it's logical because of bureaucracy and BS. But again, you have to force it, fix it. And again, that goes to the Doge department. So can Trump fix it? So can Trump pull this off? Well, practically, maybe, if public supports him for long enough. Now, is 4 years enough? Maybe. But again, if his party wins again, and there is a very good chance they can get things rolling, especially once the initial pain wears off and the profit starts to roll in. It will not happen on day one. I expect it to be year 3 when this starts to happen. But if that starts to happen and people start to see what all that pain led to, then things can go in positive direction. And it has to be a cautionary tale for every other nation. Do not let one percentile control the economic steering of the nation. It will self-destruct. Be it Britain, be it India, be it China. It's a bad thing. Or Bangladesh. It's a really bad thing. So at this point in time, I'm taking a leap of faith. I hope Trump pulls it off, because that will be slap every other country to like, okay, we have to fix our shit. And I am looking forward to that. I'm hopeful. So this was my presentation on basically the Trump's tariff treatment that is going on. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.